Hey guys, it's FlexTales here, and what you're looking at is a man who has an obsession with a certain game series. That's right. Today we're going to be talking about Metal Gear, and specifically Metal Gear Survive. And the reason you're seeing this is because I felt like I had something to prove by making this video. Just coming out and saying my opinion on Metal Gear Survive without providing the sort of input you're seeing here, it might make you question my decisions. So you can see I've sunk quite a bit of money, time, and effort into Metal Gear throughout my life. I've been playing the game for over 20 years now, and heck, I even made a puppet.
What up?
Which took me way longer than it should have to produce, but that's neither here nor there. And it's sad that I have to preface this video by showing you this and saying these things, because I am a huge Metal Gear and Kojima fan. I'm also a bit of a Konami fan. I like Castlevania, I enjoy Metal Gear, I enjoy Contra. I've been playing Konami games my whole life, and it is very sad to hear that Konami as a corporation at a time was treating its staff like prisoners. You can check out the link in the description below, and it will show you a Kotaku article that came from a Konami employee who allegedly spoke against the company and their terrible practices. Even knowing that, I have to warn you that Konami is not the only company that treats its staff poorly. In fact, I almost guarantee you have a device in your pocket or in your home that was produced by this company that treats its staff much, much worse. And the more you start looking into how a lot of these manufacturing companies treat their employees, you'll find that some are even worse than this one. All of these links and articles can be found in the description below, and I'm not excusing Konami for its behavior. What I am saying is that a lot of companies are really crappy in the way they treat their employees, some of which aren't even in Japan, they're in America. Once again, I'm not excusing Konami for their behavior, but I do want to raise this point here because I think it kind of plays into some of the hypocrisy that we see over and over again on the internet. And I don't think it's fair that we single out when we should be targeting all these places and people and having them treat their employees better. Secondly, on a more superficial note, I keep hearing about how Metal Gear Survive is just a shameless asset flip. Now, for those of you that don't know, an asset flip is when a game, sequel, or spin-off decides to use the assets from a previous entry, or I should say to reuse the assets from a previous entry in the latest entry in that series. Some of the more popular asset flips out there are these games you can see right here. And some games reuse their assets a whole bunch of times, over and over and over again. And that's not to say that these games are bad. Tons of people enjoy these games. In fact, everything you've seen on the screen so far have been games that I have bought, played, and enjoyed the crap out of. And it's also not to say that Konami hasn't done this with Metal Gear. In fact, there's been some pretty terrible Metal Gears that were really just shameless asset flips. And my favorite Metal Gear game, and I'm not alone here, is a literal asset flip of my second favorite Metal Gear game. Thirdly, Kojima doesn't have to be behind the helm of a Metal Gear game for it to be good. So what's my point? The internet, and by the way, now would be a great time to put that mouse on the dislike button, needs to grow up a bit. Metal Gear Survive is not the game of the year. I guarantee you that. But I am really enjoying the heck out of it right now, and so are a lot of other people who are playing it. Celebrity internet people will have you believe the game is absolute garbage fire, and that's not true. This game is an absolute garbage fire. And honestly, yes, Survive does take a minute or two to get into. That's one of the top criticisms I've seen. That is very true. But the core gameplay loop is very solid and rewarding, and when it gets its hooks into you, you cannot stop playing it, as evidenced here. The multiplayer is actually really intense and rewarding, and the single player honestly feels like Konami's attempt at a Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Metal Gear mashup. It's full of surprises that are both fan servicey and scary. I've actually been very surprised by the level of quality of some of the bigger shocks and monsters in this game. It is totally up my alley. And if you like things like Silent Hill or sort of Lovecraftian horror, you will get a kick out of this spin-off. Survive is definitely my kind of game, and I like it a lot. It certainly won't win any awards, but it's also not Satan.
Which? Flanders! You're the devil?
It's always the one you least suspect.
A lot of people on the forums have been saying, had they just called this game something else, like Contra, or any other name they can come up with, no one would have cared, and I think that they're right. If there's one thing I know about the internet, it's that they love starting arguments over anything, and they love spreading negativity. And what a better target than Metal Gear Survive, the first Metal Gear game without Kojima behind the helm, and with evil Konami behind the wheel. The internet in general loves a good mudslinging fight, and I think this is the perfect target right now. Konami has created a game that is such an easy target for the internet to pick on, and it's so easy to bandwagon, and everyone loves joining in on a good bandwagon that, you know, it never stood a chance from its inception, despite the fact that it's a really fun and enjoyable game. So my ultimate wish here is that the people who went into spitting hatred on forums or leaving nasty comments on videos would actually take the time to stop doing what it is that they're doing and go play some video games. Go enjoy your life. Or even better than that, go do something productive. Go help out society in some way, shape, or form. I know this is asking a lot of people on the internet, but it is possible not to just sit around all day and spit out negative, hateful things at people, companies, corporations, and their employees. I really like this game, and if you're a smart internet person, you'll go ahead and write this in the comments right now. I have no shame in saying I'm going to continue playing and buying games that look fun and pique my interest despite what the internet tells me that I should or should not do. And you know what else? Because I adore Kojima, I'm also going to buy Death Stranding the day it comes out. Because I trust him, he consistently delivers quality, and has helped me shape my life in many ways because he's been a part of it for the last 20 years. So I'm not abandoning my fandom of Kojima, and I'm also not writing off a game because he's not behind the wheel. I'm just making an intelligent decision based on, my own experiences, research, and buying patterns. You're not a bad person for spending money where you want it to. There are definitely bad companies and companies that take advantage of consumers and their employees, and it's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to take a stand with your wallet. But before you do, I ask that you please consider these 3 things first. When you're going to take a stand, don't be a hypocrite. Don't naysay against one thing when your iPhone in your pocket or your Android is also created by a company that's equally bad or worse. Don't buy those products if you don't like the behavior of the companies. Also, don't jump on a bandwagon without doing your own research. Once you've put yourself on a bandwagon, right, wrong, or otherwise, you're now on that path, and pulling yourself off it is going to be a lot harder than getting on. So make sure that before you assign yourself to any cause or reasoning, you think about what it is that you're doing, and you really look into exactly what it is you're taking a stand against. And lastly, please, for the love of all things, don't be a jerk about anything to anyone. Say something nice, say something intelligent. If you know something that no one else knows, speak up, but do so in a respectful and kind way. Alright, I've beaten this horse dead, so get ready to click that dislike button and don't forget to unsubscribe. This is not Kite Tales. Peace.